Hello, my name is Luciano Floridi and I'm the Professor of Philosophy and Ethics of Information at the Oxford Internet Institute of the University of Oxford, where I also direct the Digital Ethics Lab. First of all, thank you so much for this kind invitation to join you, even if in a way that is not interactive and only by video. I really wish I could share the day with you there, but at least I have a minimal way of contributing something to the discussion. So thank you very much for this kind invitation. I promised to be quite short in my video contribution, and so I will cover only a few essential points when it comes to the ethics of artificial intelligence or digital technologies in general, and the foundational problem we have involving policy, governance, the legal system, ethical guidelines. As you know, we just published the guidelines for the ethics of AI with a high-level group on AI appointed by the European Commission. I'm one of the members. There is a flourishing of activities in the area, and this is a good sign. It means that interest, concern, and a general awareness about the challenges in front of us is growing, and that is the first step to be taken. We need to know that we have challenges to tackle. Of course, the second step is to tackle the challenges themselves. Asking questions is the first step, but finding answers is inevitably the real step that needs to be taken immediately afterwards. But what exactly are the challenges that we are facing to begin with? Well, this is my contribution, small, as I said, in this video. I'd like to remind you, perhaps, of four different points that are all interrelated when it comes to the ethical/legal concerns that we have about the digital innovation in general and the development of artificial intelligence in particular. With no particular order of importance, let me start from the opacity of some of these technologies. Opacity here means that we're not quite sure exactly what goes on every time and precisely how some results are obtained, some decisions are made, some conclusions are reached. Now, of course, no one believes in magic here. It's not a matter of some dark art of algorithm cooking, but these are complex systems that sometimes defy simple explanations. Two consequences here are immediate. One, we need to develop the right tools to provide explanations in this case. Opacity is not a strategy, and there's plenty of initiatives ongoing, from DARPA to Microsoft, from governments around the world. Scientists and technical institutions are working to make sure that the right level and the right kind of explanation is always available whenever we are using algorithms in particular, or some other kind of AI in general. Opacity matters also because we have the need to allocate accountability. Accountability is the very concept of causal connection between what happens and who is responsible for what is happening. Without some transparency, not only we are losing the possibility of explaining what's going on, and also improving or changing what is going on when algorithmic systems are in place, but also the ability to pinpoint who is accountable for what, when, and where. So this is the first point, which is linked very closely to the second point, still under the same general umbrella of opacity. When in a complex context we deploy algorithmic systems of any kind, we are increasing a particular difficult issue, namely distributor responsibility. This is not something new, but has increased in magnitude and significance in the last few years. In any context which is sufficiently complex, it's very difficult to understand exactly where to allocate responsibility, but we are walking with a particular direction in mind where more distributed responsibility will play a bigger role. How we can tackle that distributed responsibility It's not something new, as I said. The law has been there for some time. We need to make sure that lessons are learned from other contexts, and in new contexts, things like strict liability may teach us what needs to be done for AI, for algorithmic decisions, in contexts that are highly technological. So good lessons to learn, and of course novelties to be designed or discovered. So these are the first 2 points linked to the opacity, explainability, accountability, distributor responsibility area that is prompted by AI in general. The second group, 2 more points, has got to do with agency and autonomy. I'm sure you must have noticed that until recently, autonomy did not need to be qualified because we assumed that there was only one kind, human autonomy. We build human rights also on their particular foundation. Human flourishing and human dignity are also linked to autonomy as something uniquely human. It is so, and it will remain so, in my view, for any foreseeable time. However, we do have a tiny, slightly different kind of autonomy today, which we call artificial autonomy, artificial intelligence. It's not the same kind, it doesn't work in the same way, it's almost a distant cousin, but there is a family resemblance here. These AI systems do things for us instead of us, often better than us, with some ability to learn from the data they are outputting and improve their performances. That kind of autonomy, nothing science fiction, do not think of Hollywood for a moment, the sort of autonomy that you find around the world already in your smartphone or on Netflix or Amazon, well, that is generating a couple of other issues that are worth stressing. And here I am coming to the 2 extra points I would like to share with you. One is this autonomy is relentless and gently inviting us to make up our minds in one way or another. In other contexts, it's called nudging. All the recommender systems that you have already interacted with, that we find all over the place, are gently but almost robustly and relentlessly, stubbornly telling us what to do, how to choose, where to go, what to like. And from the shopping online to the next holiday, from you may have liked this book, maybe you like that other book, from that movie to the next movie, from even choosing a job or a particular degree or a kind of t-shirt, AI is there to hold our hand. It holds our hand firmly. That firmly is a concern. There's no conspiracy, there's no particular plan, but there's something that we need to be aware of. If you remember, the stone who didn't care about the drop falling on its surface, in the end got carved by the drop falling on its surface. We might be robust, apparently, but this gently, kindly, inevitably always there form of autonomous agency that is nudging us in particular directions is something that will make a big difference to future generations. How to tackle it, how to deal with it, how to perhaps minimize it or address it in the right way. This is something that we need to do right now. I'm coming to the 4th and last point. It's still about autonomy and agency, but in this case, it's more about us. It's a link issue to what I said just a moment ago. Between 2 forms of autonomy, the real one, the human, and this sort of second kind, sort of byproduct, the artificial one, there's a difference in malleability, flexibility, intelligence. Humans are the malleable, flexible agents in question, not the AI. So who will adapt to whom when the 2 forms of autonomy will increasingly interact with each other? We need to be careful. We need to make sure that it is AI at the service of human autonomy, not the way around. That we should not adapt ourselves to our technologies, but our technologies being designed to make sure that we flourish, that we improve our ways of working or thinking or interacting, socializing. So next time you are told, well, we had to do it this way because that's the only way the computer understands how to do it, remember, that's not a solution. That's not the way it should be. We are adapting ourselves to the technology, not the other way around, and that is a mistake. So these are the 4 points I wanted to highlight with you, for you, and share in this short video. There is, I believe, a potentially happy ending here. It's a possibility, which is that of using technology to improve everybody's life and the life of the environment in which we live, is an opportunity that we should grab. Sometimes I'm asked whether I'm optimistic about it. Let me close with a joke. I'm optimistic about the opportunity. I'm not so optimistic about our ability to grab that opportunity. We should make an effort. We should make sure that this opportunity is implemented and realized. It's a design effort, and I know that conferences like the one you are taking part in are part of this huge effort in the right direction. So thank you again for this very kind invitation. I'm sorry I couldn't join you today. I wish you a very fruitful meeting, and many thanks for having listened to these few little words that I had to share with you.